What is good, everybody, man? This is, of course, ExactoKnife back with the last tier list for Season 3 when it comes to the actual badges. I've already done the slashing, shooting, and playmaking, so if you haven't seen those, check that out. But this is going to be the one that changed the most. This is obviously defense, the most important part of the game. Before we even start, make sure you drop the like on the video. Greatly helps out the channel. If you're really a supporter, make sure you watch the whole vid. It also greatly helps me out. But that's besides the point. Let's get into it. Things to know before I start. As always, this is my list, but it is not just a biased random bum player telling you this. I have a 95 win percent with 2,000 games. I play every single game mode, you know what I'm saying, at the highest level. I've tried every single court that you can imagine. On every single position I played, guard with screens, guard ISO, slasher, post score, inside center, outside center, lock, you name it. I've played every single position. I have 6 maxed out builds. And I know what I'm talking about. I bring this information to y'all not because I want to voice an opinion, but because I want to help people get better. Because I need more better people to play with. You know what I'm saying? I don't got nobody to play. And these badges, every badge is great in this game, especially defensively. Every badge is S tier for the right play style. But this is just ranking and telling you all about the badges at the same time, just to show you for the newer players that are getting this game around Christmas and stuff, like what is really good, what you want to be using, and what every badge does. So let's get right into it. So first and foremost, ankle braces. On my last tier list, I had it in the F tier, and that was done like in the first couple weeks of the game. Little did we know it counters tie handles and a lot more other things. Now I will say with this, to get any results out of this, you really want to run it on gold and preferably Hall of Fame. It is an A tier badge. It prevents tie handles, ankle breaker, space creator, all of that. But you only start to see results on a high level. So if you don't run it on a high level, I mean, you could throw on bronze and silver and it'll prevent some of the like really bad ankle breaker animations as a fail safe. But besides that, like I said, if you actually want to be an on-ball lock, then you gotta have this thing high. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't be getting stunned. Ball strippers going in the D tier now. For small guards, obviously it's an S tier badge because that's the only way you can really get a stop. But I feel like they nerfed it a little bit because it was OP at one point and you could rip people from behind and stuff. Nowadays, most people got unpluckable, most people got unstrippable, and even if you run this high, you don't see the results that you think you should. But it's nice to throw it on bronze or silver if you're a small guard. Box, this badge is great for obviously just boxing out your defender. And like I said, I always get so much hate for saying that Worm is trash because I feel like Box does what Worm does, but better. Like, Worm gives you a push animation rarely, and that while you're pushing them, you can't even get the board. But what you have to realize, that Box, like, lets you squeeze yourself into position. Pause, you know what I'm saying? It lets you squeeze yourself past your defender and establish the box out, and then jump when you want, which is what actually gives you rebounds, in my experience. So, I mean, do what you want with that information, but that's just my opinion. Brick wall is going in the A tier. Now, the game has become a lot more on both current and next gen. For example, I'm a next gen player, but on current and next, the game's become pretty ISO dominant when it comes to, like, you know, the park and stuff like that, which is what most of y'all play. Brick wall does help you stop post scores, like, significantly. It helps you, like, push them back when they're backing you down, and it drains their stamina, but there's not that many post scores on this game. So I'm mostly talking about this from the screens perspective. I mean, screens are great when you run them. The higher the badge, the better. Hall of Fame brick wall makes it very hard to dodge a screen if you know how to set them correctly. It puts people on their ass sometimes, like 2K17. Great badge. Chased on artist, S tier. No explanation needed. Every tier, just bronze, is already overpowered. Y'all know everyone slashes, everybody runs to the basket in this game. If you don't have this badge on, you're at a massive disadvantage because you're gonna have to guard their 3 close to not give up a 3 on any court, and then you're gonna have to chase them down and they're gonna get the open dunk. You know what I'm saying? Clamps, amazing badge, gives you body bumps, drain their stamina, helps you make people get like slower and lower ball control players to pick up the ball. It's a great badge for every court. Defensive leader. Now, I've been testing this a lot when I was on my post score playing 2s with another lock. And I don't know, like, people say it's only a +4 boost to the attributes, and he already has really high attributes. I was running a Hall of Fame, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like, it feels like it's a lot more than Hall of Fame. It almost feels like it gives the lock better, like, steal percentages, man. He gets every interception when he plays with me with defensive leader, and I play with the same person without defensive leader right before and after, just to compare. He gets every pluck, you know what I'm saying, barely gets fouls, blocks everything. It's crazy. Like, definitely check it out if you have the extra badge ability to run that for your team. Also in Pro-Am, at least one person has to run this high. You know what I'm saying? That helps out the whole team. The more people is being helped out, the better. Hustler. Pretty much just helps you run after rebounds and lose balls quicker. I mean, we've been talked about this badge, and I told people a lot about this badge on this channel. When you rip somebody, when you block someone, when you get the board, when there's a loose ball, it just helps you pick the ball up. You gotta have this at least on silver on every archetype. Like gold, like if you're current gen, you could maybe like, you can't run it that high, but on next gen, bro, gold at least, man, at least. Interceptor, S tier. There's obviously a whole build has been found on next gen, the 6'9" glitch build that gets Interceptor Hall of Fame, and that should tell you all you need to know about this badge if people are finding glitches to get this badge specifically on a taller build. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable what you get in the lanes. Sometimes you don't even need to reach. It's just that cracked. Like I said, a lot of times you're not going to be able to play honest defense and get a stop every play. So when you play the lanes, Interceptor on any tier just allows you to be so much more than just like a contest or a block. You know what I'm saying? It allows you to prevent the players from moving the basketball, which is a big part of the game this year, you know what I'm saying, with how fast the passes fly. Intimidator makes people miss dunks on every level. In the last patch, it was changed so that it now affects the perimeter even more. It used to pop on the perimeter, but it felt like it didn't do that much, so now it does even more. And I know this because my post scorer got 53 perimeter defense, but I have Hall of Fame and Gold Intimidator. I just switched between the two. And like anytime I jump or I'm right there at somebody, it's like a 20, 30, 40%. Like it's smothered, even though I have no business contesting the perimeter. Menace. Menace, a lot of people underrate this badge, a lot of people overrate it. I got it down the middle in B tier. We're talking about defense right now, so most people that are interested in this are going to be defenders. It basically just lowers the perimeter oriented offensive stats like 3-point ball control, speed of ball passing. And when you go against somebody with menace that's high, you do feel your players moving a little bit more sluggish. You're not getting your dribble moves as much as you want. And if you play against somebody with menace that already has a low ball control, which is a lot of people nowadays that just do like step backs and run around, especially on the next gen side, it's gonna really greatly help you out to make them even easier to pluck and to body bump and make them slower. So don't sleep on this badge, but don't overrate it either. You know, everything above it is better than it if you're a lockdown. You know what I'm saying? Chase down, clamps, interceptor, intimidator, hustler. All that is better than menace in terms of what tier you should have it on, but menace definitely does its job. Off ball pest, E tier. I mean, let's not talk too much about that. Pig dodger. Now, a lot of people, like I said, ISO, so that makes Pig Dodger useless. But what for the effectiveness of the badge, I mean, for me, I love Pig Dodger. It's one of my favorite badges. People complain about it, but me, I love to fight the screens. I go crazy with that. I just know how to do it, I guess. But Pig Dodger, B tier badge. I mean, it's a little better than average. I mean, it's aight, bro. Like it helps you not get brick walled as much. You don't lose as much stamina fighting the screens. But like I said, if you don't play against somebody with screens, the badge is useless. So like, if you're a lock, run it at the highest tier you can, but if you're a guard on like 2s or something, you don't need to run it that high. Pickpocket. Now, I mean, at the beginning of the season, the steals were kind of crazy, and then they did like a secret patch again, and they tuned them down again, so I'm putting in the A tier. Yeah, I know like the inbound, when people press the inbound and then they rip the player, you know what I'm saying? They swipe their hands up at him and reach when the guard is stuck off the inbound. I mean, pickpocket's really effective for that. Pickpocket, at least on bronze, is required to get most blitzes in this game. If y'all didn't know that, if you don't have pickpocket, you're very unlikely to get blitzes. So just be aware of that on any player. It's if you want to like blitz players, which is like running into them while they're running with the ball sideways into your body, and then you reach, and instead of ripping them, your player like waves his arm, but then your body is the one that gets the steal. If you want to get those, you got to have pickpocket equipped. Pogo stick. Now I'm a hater of this badge, but the players I play with use it a lot, and it is an effective badge, especially if you're an undersized big or a lock that's guarding ISO. It lets you jump again. It lets you jump better on rebounds, on shot contests. It's a great badge, you know what I'm saying? If that's something that you like to do, if you love to jump to get a contest, if you love to play aggressive defense in the paint especially, it's a great badge, man, especially if you're an undersized player. Post move lockdown. Now, there's not that many post scores, but for the effectiveness of the badge, it is very effective. You know what I'm saying? This will brick wall, and you could just play hands up defense on most post scores. It's kind of overpowered how post scores have all the badges to score, and then like they don't even need any badges to score on the average player. But the second you play against these two badges, you can have everything Hall of Fame in the post, and you're just not going to be able to do shit. But just be aware of that. If you know you're going against the post score, if you're playing in a wagerous series, if you're spinning on someone, if you lost a post score, put this on. If they're drop stepping or spinning, and they will not do anything. Rebound chaser, S tier. I mean, just helps you get boards. Every tier is great from bronze to silver. Probably one of the most balanced badges. With every tier, you see a consistent increase. So that Hall of Fame is just crazy because with Hall of Fame, you're already gonna have a extremely high rebounding as well. You know what I'm saying? To unlock it on next gen, you need a 99. Or like I said, on current gen, you're gonna have a player that already specializes in defense and rebounding. Like I said, the higher you run it, the better. It just allows you to jump high and snag over people when you're out of position. Rim protector, boost your takeover, boost your teammates takeover. If you have lock or rim take, when you have this badge and you get a block, your shit flies. Like, come on, bro, that shit just takes off like a NASA SpaceX fucking rocket into outer space. It's a great badge. It increases your block percentages, and with how much paint mashing and rim running there is, it's definitely worth running it as high as you can or close to it. Tireless defender, I love this badge personally, but I'm not going to be biased. For most people, it's not really that useful of a badge, but I personally love tireless defender, and for me, it's more like an A tier badge. I have to have this on all my locks, at least on something. It just prevents you from losing stamina, prevents you from slowing down as you lose stamina. It does a lot of different like little things that most people just choose to ignore, but if you're a lockdown, you gotta have it. If you're a guard that plays twos and you're going against a lot of screens players, it's gonna help you a lot, you know, not get drained. It doesn't fatigue you as much. Worm, now it's the most controversial badge. Like, yes, I understand for a 7-3 center going against a small player, he will just elbow him out the way, but if you're going against a small player, you should be getting positioned with box anyways. If you get positioned with box, you could get like 10 rebounds in a row. Like if you know what you're doing against somebody that's at a massive rebounding disadvantage. Your guard can just shoot smothers and you'll get the board every time. Worm will make you push people and move yourself out of position. You know what I'm saying? All it does is just like it makes you push. And if they have a high box, it's not gonna happen anyways. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it's a waste of a badge for most centers. If some centers are good with it and they know how to use it, but then again, they already have the advantage anyways. So they should just work on their positioning rather than relying on an animation. But that's going to be it for the tier list. Hopefully I'll have a great rest of y'all day. Appreciate the love and the support on the channel. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one.